Hello everyone. Happy Motivational Monday. Hi, for anyone who don't know, this is Lakeeya Natasha Holmesy. I am an LCSW. I am a licensed therapist and a wellness coach, and I am here every Monday just offering some motivation for all of you and motivation for myself. I started this platform not just for me as a therapist, me as a wellness coach, but just me as a woman going through my own healing journey. So oftentimes the things, the messages that I say on here is encouraging to me or has encouraged me, or things that I have learned in this journey thus far. And I am super grateful because this week is Thanksgiving, which is hands down my favorite holiday. I believe neck and neck with my birthday. I think my birthday is like number one favorite holiday of the year. And then Thanksgiving is my next favorite holiday. Thanksgiving to me is so important because it gives you a time to not worry about what you want, but just be grateful for what you already have. And that's why I always love Thanksgiving. Now, as I've gotten older, Thanksgiving has definitely, hey Mel, hey, good evening, thanks for joining me. Thanksgiving has changed as I got older, where, you have the old traditions, you have the big family dinners, you have everybody bringing a dish, you have a beautiful turkey and ham and laughing and joking and fun and family. And as life happens for a lot of us, our family dynamics has changed. The elders in our family may be gone. You may have moved away from your nuclear family or your extended family. And it's important to understand that Thanksgiving can be whatever you decide to eat. It doesn't have to look like everyone else's Thanksgiving. And you do not have to do the same things you used to do. You can make up your own traditions. But sometimes we grieve, the old traditions and the old ways and who's not going to be there. And that's always in the forefront in the holiday season. But Thanksgiving is about being thankful. So even if it's people that you lost, you can be thankful for the time that you shared with them. Thankful for those memories that can never be erased. Thank you for the funny stories and things like that. And thank you for the ability, because as long as we live in the land of living, we have the ability to keep changing our story, keep adding to it, and creating new memories and new holiday traditions and things of that nature. So, for me, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday outside of my birthday. And for me, I wanted to hear from anyone, even if you join later and watches this on replay, put hashtag replay, of course. But I want to start with saying, what are we thankful for? You could put it in the chat. What are you thankful for right now? As if it's Monday, 7:10 p.m., November 20th. What are you grateful for this year? And for me, I'm grateful for many, many, many things, but no more important than my own growth. I am so grateful for my growth this year. I really set out a challenge when I turned 40 last year that I wanted to start my 40s off different. So it actually started before I turned 40, because if I wanted to start 40 different, I had to start at 38, 39 to start laying the foundation of the change. And I'm so grateful that I want 40 to be my best decade yet. I really, really, really do. So I decided to hold myself accountable for many things that I didn't. I really had to take a self-examination and say, How do I stand in my own way? How is my thinking not lining up for what I want in my life? How is my behaviors affecting the things that I want? Like, is my everyday behavior, aligning with my future goals? And there was still room, much room for me to grow in that area, instead of looking at the outside, because it's easy for us to look at people and say what they need to fix, right? We can run the list. I'm a therapist. It's my job to figure out and diagnose people and tell them what the problem is and then help them come up with a solution. But how was I applying those things to my life? Was I overlooking areas on purpose because I didn't want to do the difficult work to change? And that is important to have that kind of conversation with yourself. It's a hard conversation to have with yourself. But I have prayed so many times for God to change my situations throughout my whole life, right? I know we all have been there. You're like, Lord, please just change this, just fix this, just shift this. And then we fill in the blank what we going to do, these promises that he know we ain't going to keep. But we always do this. And it's like, no, I am here for you, but I need you to meet me, And I just think about Peter walking on water with Jesus. He's seen Jesus out there. And Jesus was like, all right, you want to come? Just come. And I preached a message like this years ago about walking on water. Wanted to have that walk on water faith. But what does that actually mean? That means that you got to do something that people going to think you crazy doing. People going to look at you like, who do you think you are? That's the kind of things you got to be doing. Why do you think you should do that? I can't believe they're doing that. And that's what the people on the boat probably was thinking when Peter went out there. But he took a chance, right? He took a chance because he knew either way he would have been saved and protected. And that is key for us to understand. And this is not really a sermon, but I always remember like that message as like that crazy faith message of like, I can do things even if other people don't understand why I'm doing it. I'm doing this to get closer to my greater self. I'm doing this to get closer to God. And that's really what the purpose of our life is, right? Is to figure out what we're supposed to be doing and how do we honor God in the things that we do. So for me, I am so grateful for my growth over this past year. 2023 was not an easy year for me at all. It started off rough and it's probably ending off a little rough between like just sicknesses, and people don't even know because I'm always so positive, and I'm positive for a reason, because it's important to highlight the things that are positive in your life, even when you're going through, and that keeps you going versus focusing on all the things that's problems. I posted today that our feelings are valid, but they're temporary. They are temporary. What we feel is not who we are. Sometimes we feel like crap, but that doesn't mean we're crap. We could feel like a mess, but that doesn't mean our life is a mess or we are a mess, right? It's important to understand that our feelings are our feelings, and we should observe them and we should honor them, and they have a space in our life, but they are not who we are or what we're going to become. So this year was very challenging because I set off on this wellness journey last year, and the beginning of this year, I had a massive flare up that put me out to the count. And most people didn't even know because I was trying to keep up appearances, but I was like really, really sick for the first 4 months of the year. Then it broke, and then I was good for a few months, and then it happened again, and then it happened again. And this was not a good health year for me, but I'm grateful for my health. So when we talk about what we're grateful for, it's important to recognize that everything don't have to be good for us to be grateful. I had lost important lady in my life, and I got to do her eulogy. My friend's grandmother, Miss Lena, in August, and then I lost my aunt in October, and then I lost my friend Veronica 2 weeks ago. So it was like 3 very important ladies in my life. I have lost someone significant or more. So 1 or more people that was important to me in my life every single year since 2011. So I had to reflect on that this year, because it challenges you of like, what is this about? Like, can I get a break? But I really realized, and I'm very grateful for my relationship with grief, because after losing very important people in my life, I had to take an inventory of how I'm responding regarding my own life. Like, how am I appreciating my own life and the people that's around me? I believe that as life is so precious and important, so is death. That is just a part of life. And it's a way that we can honor people in their transition and in their death. And we are blessed to know people. We're blessed to love people. And guess what? We're going to be blessed to grieve them too, because either they're going to grieve us or we're going to grieve them. And that's every person that we love in our life, and we need to start talking about it. So I think with all of this, what I'm grateful for is that I recognize that I have the ability to talk about death in a way that a lot of people cannot or won't. And it's something that I'm really passionate about and want to do more work in. So I'm grateful for this year, able to make this something that I'm looking forward to, be able to help more people in this way. So stay tuned. We'll know. I put it out there to God, so who knows how he's going to transform that prayer and what it's going to actualize. For people who's just joining, I said put what you're grateful for in the chat. What are you grateful for in 2023? We have our overall big gratefulness things. We're grateful for our life, our health, our strength. Those are the things that I say in every prayer. Every single time I pray, my life, my health, and my strength. And then, we're thankful for our family. We're thankful for our children. We're thankful for roof over our head, those things, right? But what are you grateful for this year? 2023 is almost over. What are we most grateful for? And I know we should be able to have a long list. So I'm grateful for, despite, like I was saying, despite all my setbacks as far as my health, that I was still able to maintain my wellness goals, my health goals, by being consistent, the way I eat, the way I'm exercising, the way I take care of myself, the way I'm resting, the way I'm prioritizing my time, how I'm keeping my stress down. All these things I'm very grateful that years prior I wasn't able to do. But this year I held myself accountable to sit myself down when I don't feel well, which is a huge thing for me, because I had to recognize that it was a trauma response for me to be like so hyper vigilant and hyper independent. And I had to learn that this year. Growth for me came from understanding my worth in all spaces of my life, family, friends, business relationships, and be able to set boundaries and keep boundaries, which is very important to me. And I can see it in my everyday life, the benefits of that. Going out for big things that I wanted to accomplish and actually getting them done and going after little goals that I wanted to accomplish and getting those done. So it is important to give yourself credit for all you're doing, because right now the world is heavy. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. It can feel like, what is the point? Is this the end? And who knows? We can't control that. But we can control is our own lives and our own responses to our life. That's all we can control. So what do we do with these heavy feelings? We nourish ourselves. For me, I'm grateful that I know when I need to not listen to news or watch the news. I'm able to put boundaries about the things that I watch on social media. I'm able to pour into the people who pour into me. I'm able to limit interaction from people who drain me in such a healthy way without feeling bad, without feeling guilty. And that is growth for me. The way we survive this world is to manage the things that's in our control and release the things that's outside of our control. And for me, that was definitely my adult children. I am so proud of myself this year. I kind of relinquished a lot of, I'm not going to say kind of, yes, I relinquished a lot of control on my adult children's life. I'm not trying to make sure they don't have the same struggles as me. Like, I already did my part. They won't make the same mistakes as me. They won't go down the same path. I know that for sure because they have me, right? They had me and they have me. So their life won't look like mine in that way. But they are individuals, so they will make their own mistakes. They will do some detours in life. They will have to learn some lessons. And it's my job to allow them to and give them space and grace to be human beings as young adults. And by doing that, it was really an exercise of my faith, but also me managing my anxiety. And this is where the conversations gets real for me. For me to be able to relinquish control over my adult kids' life, grownish, they're not really adults, but grownish kids' life, I had to look at how am I managing my anxiety. Because I said many of times that I have generalized anxiety disorder. I have PTSD through my childhood, through the lack of protection in my life. I have these things. So what did I have to do? I had to look at how am I going to say, this is my anxiety. This is my anxiety. Hi, ladies. How you doing? Hi, cuz. Am I going to say, it's my anxiety, so they have to get over it? Or am I going to do something about it? So I'm going to tell you what I've done. This is what I'm so proud of when it comes to being anxious. So anytime any of my kids do anything outside of them sticking right next to me, I'm anxious. Because our greatest fear is something happened to our kids. That is our greatest fear as a parent. So for me, all my kids are driving or learning how to drive, except for Hope, of course. And I was freaked out about everything. Tina had an accident when she first learned how to drive. She totaled my car. We was unharmed, but my anxiety got worse. And I really didn't treat it at that time. I just I'll get over it. But I didn't realize how much trauma her crashing my car really did to the idea of these kids driving. And I wouldn't let her drive. Until she made a point this year to say, Mom, I'm going to drive. And I had to deal with, what is the worst case scenario with my kids driving? The worst case scenario is if they get in an accident and they die. The worst case scenario could be they get in an accident and they kill someone else. The worst case scenario is if they get stopped by the police and something bad happens to them. All those things are the worst case scenario, right? Can I do anything about that other than lock them in a house and make them not drive? No. So because I can't do anything about that, it's outside of my control, I have to release those things. I cannot control them through my anxiety. I have to come to my kids in a loving place, a trusting place, and a knowing place that no matter what happens, it's going to be okay, you know? And that's hard as a mom. It's very hard to do. But I was able to do that with them. Now Tina's driving on her own. Caleb fully driving, has his own car, doing his own thing. He has great parents, right? Ty is driving, learning how to drive. His driving lesson is next Tuesday. And he's 24 and he never wanted to drive. And now Caleb is driving. Now he wants to drive. And he's driving. And he already has a car waiting for him as soon as he gets his license, right in the driveway. They have great parents. Elena has been driving since she got her license. So I cannot stress about these kids all day long. I cannot, control who they with and who they not, boyfriends, girlfriends. We did it all this year in 2023, but I recognize me not meddling, everything kind of worked out in my favor. The ones that we didn't like disappeared, and the ones that we did like stayed. And we're grateful for that. And I just wanted to share that for any moms that's on here, especially of grownish kids, that as much as we want the best for our kids, the best that we want for our kids and how we want them not to make mistakes and we want them not to be hurt, it's no way. It's too many things that could happen that's outside of our control. So it's best to just trust God and trust the kids. That's it. And then we can release it and we can try to enjoy our life post kids, So that's the one thing. The second thing that how I've grown with the anxiety is a lot of times we shrink back and we don't be our best self because we're anxious of how other people are going to see our changes, our promotion, our development, whatever. And I recognize that over the last few years, I wasn't really going for the things that I wanted to go for. I'm glad you agree. Yes, I didn't go for the things that I normally go for in my career. It's because I was thinking, good evening, that I was shooting too high. And what would that look like? And who do I think I am type of things. But this year I've been talking my mess, right? This year I've been shooting my shot when it comes to my career in big ways and really have paid off. So before I'll be too scared to tell people like what I cost, what's my rate, what do I want for a contract, a proposal, a new client. But lately I'm just been like, this is how much it costs. You want me or you don't want me. And I feel like this is going to shift how I do business. And it feels like I'm building like great business practices doing it. So I'm not shrinking back. So how did I manage that? I said to myself, what is the best thing that can happen? Because oftentimes we focus on the negative thing, but some great things could be happening to us on the other side of our fear. And a lot of times we don't want to do stuff because of our fear of it. And we don't want to live in fear, whether it's negative or positive. So for me, I no longer want to live in fear of what if it's not work out? What if it's not good? I want to say, well, what if it's good? What if it's the best thing that could happen, right? And oftentimes it's something in the middle. It may not be the very best thing that can happen, but it's pretty doggone close, right? Or it's pretty good. We have to be able to step out our own way, out of our own fears, our own anxiety, and just go for it. We want to try a new thing, want to get a new degree, want to go to a new school, move to a new state, start a new career that's totally different than your old career, start a new business, write a book. It's so many ways we can do this thing of stepping out on it. It could be simple as like, I'm going to be consistent with going to the gym, which I'm so proud of myself because I start and stop gym all the time. This year, my most consistent year, and it pays and it shows, So I'm learning that the best thing is on the other side of our decision to not be scared. And the worst thing may still be around the corner, but we can't control it, so we must release it. And that's how I learned to manage my anxiety in 2023. And that's why this post is called Gratitude for Growth, because that is what I'm most grateful for this year. And I hope that each one of you, as you watch this, kind of think about what things that you have done and overcome in 2023 that sets you apart from last year, that's going to help prepare you for next year, because that's what life should be. If you're year after year after year, you're completely the same person, are you doing the work? Are you really living the life that God has for you if you're not experimenting with how good it can get, right? Because it can get pretty doggone good if we don't stay in a comfortable space. It can be just trying new foods. I met a lot of people, especially since I promote plant-based nutrition, right? I am not a vegan yet. I hope and pray one day that I will be 100% vegan. I'm like 90% vegan. I'm vegetarian. So I promote plant-based, right, lifestyle. And when I say this, people like give me all kinds of stuff. And I say, well, have you even tried this or tried that? No, I'm not trying that. That's going to be nasty. But how do you know? Your good health might be on the other side of stop eating certain things, right? It's not for me to tell you what you can or cannot eat, but I can give you some strategies that I use, right? But if you're sick and you're not doing something actively to get better, then what are we talking about? What are we doing, right? And for me, I have so many elements. I want to live as long as God has me here. I don't know how long that's going to be, but whatever amount of years I have, I want it to be healthy. I want to be strong. I want to be around people who genuinely love me, that I don't have to question what their motivations are. I want to have big dreams that I go chasing. And even if I don't, get to the stars, maybe I hit the moon, right? And it's important to know that this life can be as grand as you want it to be, right? And it can be as simple as you want it to be. And it can be as comfortable as you want it to be. And success is different for everyone. And I think for me, this year, I recognize what success means to me. And maybe I'll have a separate motivation about what does success mean and how we define success. But for me, knowing what success is and giving myself permission to change my definition from year to year has given me the peace that I need to sustain, because now success means to me feeling safe in every place I go. Success for me meaning being safe around the people that I'm connected to. Safe to me means always speaking my truth and being honest and want people to be truthful to me. That is success if I'm able to accomplish that. Success is being honest with myself, saying when I'm a mess, I'm a mess. When I'm right, when I'm right. When I'm wrong, when I'm wrong. And making active choices to change the things I don't like about myself without anyone else having to criticize me about it first, right? So I know the things I need to change. And success to me is like, I did the work this year. I like did the work to be a person that I am proud of. Not that I need anyone else now to validate my growth. I can actually say, I know I'm a different person than last year. And for that, I am so grateful to have people in my life that hold me accountable, that inspire me, that motivate me in such a big way. Most of y'all are on here, so I'm very grateful to have you in my life. And I am grateful for whatever is going to happen next year. I hope and pray that 2024 be the first year in many years that I don't lose someone that I love. Because it's been a hard battle to lose someone every single year since 2011. I literally counted. It's difficult. With that, each day I am so intentional to make sure that I show myself love and grace, and that I make sure I let the people know that I love them. Although those that I love, they should know that I love them from the bottom of my heart. And with that, whenever we say goodbye to each other, I can stand on that. And I'm very grateful for having that kind of that life of integrity, of no secrets, because secrets eat us up alive, and keep us in a toxic place because we don't want anyone to find out our secrets. And I'm like, I'm so grateful. I'm overwhelmed. But I don't want this to be a long video because look, Eagles play tonight, right? And I don't want it to be a long video. I'm grateful for the Eagles. But I want everyone to take away from this live that Thanksgiving doesn't mean everything has to be great. You can still find something you can be grateful for, and at least be grateful for yourself and how you survived 2023 thus far, and prayerfully be able to see 2024 with new optimism, less fear, more determination, better consistency, and great people around you to love you and hold you accountable so you can continue to live in your truth. Stay blessed, everyone. Have a great week and holiday, and I'll see you next Monday.